Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on how companies get their information. And the secret? Well, it turns out they act a lot like detectives solving a really complex case. They're piecing together clues to understand the world and, more importantly, to understand you. You know that feeling, right? You're scrolling online and boom, an ad pops up for something you were just thinking about. Or a store sends you a coupon for your favorite cereal right when you're about to run out. It feels like magic, maybe even a little creepy. But it's not. It's a very deliberate process of gathering clues. And today, we are going to crack that case. So, where does any good detective start? The first place is always with the evidence they already have. For a company, this means looking in the mirror and digging into all the information they've already collected right inside their own walls. This is what's officially called the internal record system. But really, you can just think of it as the company's own internal case file. It is an absolute goldmine of what's called results data, hard facts about what's been sold, what's just sitting in the warehouse, and who's buying what. It is the most logical and, frankly, the most powerful place to start any investigation. And just look at how powerful these internal clues can be when they're used right. Take Fossil. They gave their sales team live access to inventory data, which cut down those super frustrating back orders by a massive 80%. Panasonic used a new system that slashed the wait time for a plasma TV from 25 weeks all the way down to just 5. Wells Fargo sifts through its transaction data to guess what you might need next, and it works. They sell nearly twice as many products per customer as their competition. And Best Buy? Oh, they've built this huge database that sorts customers into profiles like Buzz, the young tech lover, or Jill, the suburban mom. It lets them do incredibly precise marketing. But here's the thing. There's a catch. Internal clues can sometimes lie. And Michael Dell puts it perfectly with this quote. Imagine a salesperson is just really, really good at their job. They convince a customer who actually wanted a red car to buy one of the yellow ones they have in stock. Well, the sale gets recorded, and a signal gets sent back to the factory that says, hey, make more yellow cars. The signal gets completely distorted. A good detective has to be really careful not to misread the evidence. Okay, so after looking inward, a good detective has to hit the pavement. They've got to get out there and see what's actually happening in the real world. This is all about gathering fresh clues from the marketplace itself. And this is where the marketing intelligence system comes in. If those internal records are results data, what happened yesterday, then this is happenings data. It's about what's going on right now. It's all about keeping your finger on the pulse of the market, listening to the chatter on the street to see what might be coming next. And companies have a whole toolkit for this. They train their sales force to be frontline intelligence gatherers. For instance, at Grace Performance Chemicals, salespeople spotted customers using their waterproofing material to soundproof cars, which led to millions in new product ideas. They team up with retailers, like when ConAgra saw that people buying popcorn also bought Coke, so they created displays for both. And of course, they use all the other tools you see here, from hiring mystery shoppers to monitoring the internet. It's all designed to get a clear picture of the world outside their own building. Let's zoom in on one of those tools for a second, the mystery shopper. This is a classic detective move, right? Companies literally hire people to pose as regular customers and then report back on everything. Was the store clean? Were the employees helpful? This is even used in healthcare now, where mystery patients help hospitals improve everything from wait times to bedside manner. It's just a really powerful way to get an unfiltered view of your own business. Now, what's really interesting here is how the principles of gathering intelligence stay the same, even as the tools change completely. Decades ago, oil tycoon T. Boone Pickens would have spies with binoculars literally counting the drill pipes at a competitor's site to figure out how deep they were drilling. Fast forward to today, when a Yankees game hot rained out, StubHub monitored social media, saw customer confusion, and instantly offered refunds. Coke spotted one angry tweet that went to 10,000 followers and solved the problem in minutes, turning that person into a huge fan. Same goal, just very different binoculars. Okay, so the best detectives don't just solve one case. They understand the entire city, the social currents, the economic pressures, the whole big picture. And great companies do the exact same thing. They are constantly scanning the horizon for the major forces that are shaping our world. A crucial part of this is being able to tell the difference between a fad and a trend. A fad, like Crocs or that one must-have Christmas toy, is a total flash in the pan. It's unpredictable, and it's gone before you know it. A trend, on the other hand, has deep roots and real momentum. Dockers pants weren't a fad. They were a response to a long-term trend of baby boomers needing comfortable clothes. When Macaroni Grill saw the growing trend of health consciousness, they changed their menu. Fads are just noise. Trends are the real signals. And these trends, they don't happen in a vacuum. They're driven by 6 major forces, what a detective might call the macro environment. Just think of these as the huge, powerful currents that shape everything: how populations are growing, how the economy is breathing, how technology is changing our lives. A good company watches all of them. Let's look at a couple of quick examples. Let's start with a really fun demographic clue. The company DuPont actually studied how people use their pillows, and they found these distinct groups. The largest group, at 23%, were stackers. And this seemingly silly piece of research led to a very real business decision. They started selling more of their pillows in pairs. It's a perfect example of how studying population habits can lead directly to product innovation. Here's another really smart demographic play. Fisher-Price recognized the rapid growth of the Hispanic market in the US. But instead of just making assumptions about heritage, they shifted their advertising to focus on something totally universal that crosses all cultures: the simple joy of a mother and child playing together. It was a brilliant way to connect emotionally with a changing population. Now let's pick up an economic clue. This number, 53, it represents a pretty sobering global reality. Imagine for a second, the world was a tiny village of just 100 people. In that village, 53 of them, more than half, would be living on less than $2 a day. For any company that wants to operate on a global scale, that single number changes absolutely everything. And economic clues aren't just about global poverty, they're also about major events. Just think about the 2008 recession. After that shock to the system, consumer psychology changed completely. People became way more value conscious, but they didn't want to give up on style. Starwood Hotels spotted this shift and launched a Loft, a hotel chain that offered this cool, urban chic design at an affordable price. It was the perfect product for a new economic reality. So, what does this all add up to? Well, it brings us right back to our detective. All of your actions, your purchases, your clicks, your comments, every single one is a clue, and companies are getting better and better at collecting them. So the most important thing to remember is this: a successful company is a good detective. It's not magic and it's not luck. It's a system. First, they look inward at their own data. Then they look outward to see what's happening in the market right now. And finally, they look at the big picture, scanning the horizon for the major forces that will shape the future. And that leaves us with one final question to think about. From the websites you visited, to the things you bought, to the posts you liked on social media, what clues have you left for the business detectives today?